All 200 of your questions are answered about a second stimulus check for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and veterans. Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a bonus video today on the second stimulus check and stimulus package, detailing and answering all your incredible questions from yesterday about SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. Earlier today, we delivered a video about the major breaking developments about a second stimulus package today for those benefit recipients. So please watch that video. I'll drop in the links above. This video is a bonus video to celebrate turning to 50,000 subscribers today. We are going to be answering all 200 of your questions from yesterday's video. Let's get right to them right now. Sarah says, we need the second stimulus check before we head back to school. Very well said. John Baird, people really need a larger amount than $1,200. You will get it. No one is really believing that the $1,200 is going to get paid. It's too small. Nina, my father's on SSI and hasn't received his first stimulus check. It depends on several factors. If he was a dependent on your tax return, he would not get it. If he files his own tax return, he was not newly on SSI this year, he is entitled to a first stimulus check. We have detailed that there's 300 million people who are entitled to a first stimulus check that have not gotten it, but are still getting it. Rusty, well, according to that jerk McConnell, I don't think we're going to get anything. Not true. Watch our video earlier today. Mitch McConnell says you're getting a check if you made less than $40,000. He changed like he changes with the wind. Debbie, the state of Michigan took my husband's stimulus money for a back bill, and they take $440 out of his SSDI. He lives on $420 a month. They should have given it back to him. We've detailed with you that basically you have to be careful how you get routed your second stimulus check. If it goes into an account that is negative balance, it may get drawn upon. Tambourine, Congress takes more vacations than anyone I know of. Very well said. Connie, the same way as the first stimulus check. Gary, what's not hard to understand is that taking these vacations and breaks on the tax dollars that we pay them. Very well said. Diane, I've been self-employed since I was 25. I live in Vermont. I'm also disabled, receiving SSI. Since I'm required to report all income to the SSA, I dutifully reported the PUA and the IDL grant for my businesses. I recently received my SI benefits that were reduced to zero because of PUA. That's right, zero. I filed a request for reconsideration citing SSI's rules. Any chance you could do a video on this guidance? It is hard. I mean, PUA has that question on a weekly basis that says, if you were able to work, would you have worked? And I always answer that. I always explain to viewers that you have to answer that question as yes, because that's a physical question. If you answered it no, meaning you would not have worked because you're physically unable to due to a disability, then ultimately your benefits are zero. I don't know why your SSI benefits were reduced to zero because of PUA. I don't know how much money you got for PUA. If you can, drop in the comments how much you got for PUA, how much you got for EIDL, and how much you were and why that impacted PUA, because I don't understand it from just the comments alone. John, I just found out that Mitch McConnell's family received $350,000 of PPP money. I'm not surprised. It's just a hot mess. We just detailed a PPP fraud lawsuit, allegedly, in our last video today. Estrella, you're so funny, laugh every time you talk about their vacations. Yes, they're Tahitian vacations, and they're feet in the jacuzzi, sipping Mai Tais, and singing songs off-key while the rest of us struggle. Bob Linder, wrong for me. I always got my SS via direct deposit, but I received my first stimulus check by mail. Interesting. I don't have an explanation for that one. That one makes no sense. Christy, are kids getting a second stimulus check if it's approved? Yes. Kids on your return who are dependents, let me back up. The second stimulus check is different in the following regards. And I hope I remember the age. Under the first stimulus check, if you had a child who was in college and was a dependent on your tax return and was 18 years of age, so they're a freshman in college, they would not get a stimulus check. But if that child, for some particular weird reason, happened to file their own tax return last year instead of listing as a dependent on yours, they would get a stimulus check. This time around, they realized that was an error. So now they are giving stimulus checks to dependent children, irrespective of whether or not they're raising the age up higher. So younger children get a smaller amount. Older children and adults who are dependents or minors who are dependents are also getting stimulus checks. The amount is just higher, so they're clearly paying it to people they did not pay last time, and they're paying a lot more money. Earl Barnes, I filed a non-filer for the first check, and the IRS knows where I am. I went on SSDI in January. They've been sending my benefits since January. The IRS knows me. I love that. So Earl did everything he needs to do. He understands that there's two things that are big problems. One, you don't file taxes. Two, you newly went on benefits this year. As this channel has been detailing, those two things are two items in which they clearly don't know where you are. He fixed it by one, filing the non-filer form to get the first stimulus check, and second, ensuring that his benefits checks now are going to the right address. So far you seem fine for the second stimulus check. I will update you as we get closer. Guadalupe, so when will we receive that money for the second stimulus check? It likely will be approved around August 7th, if it includes everyone that is now proposed. And if so, then checks would start being delivered late August, early September. The direct deposits would come first. The debit card amounts would also come early. The paper checks would come later. Vera Gwitz, thank you so much for the updates. It's very important for us who are on SSA, SSI, SSDI. Thank you for the updates. Well, thank you. Roxanne, thank you for being so informative, explaining everything so thoroughly. Your updates are only ones I listen to. Well, thank you. You shouldn't listen to anyone else. You should only listen to me. I mean, I literally go through the microcosm of every single thing you need to know. And I'm literally reading from what the IRS publishes. I don't spin it or change it. So you shouldn't be reading any. The only person else you should be reading from is the IRS, except me. You may not know how much we appreciate your time and effort. We sure understand everything. You're a true blessing for some of us who need to explain information. We do what needs to be done to get our stimulus money. And a lot more very nice comments. Thank you so much. My job is to make every viewer of this channel informed, educated, knowledgeable. It's not complicated. It's simple. If I tell it to you in a simple way, which it can be said, then you will understand it. And if you're eligible, then you'll understand how you get the check and when you would get the check and how you would get the check. It's as simple as that. Brown G, I love how you emphasize and describe the vacation. You like the Mai Tai, you like the feet in the jacuzzi, you like the Tahitian holiday. Sharon Alden, I'm so happy I found you. Very simple explanation on everything. You're on top of it. You're hilarious. Well, thank you. I'm scratchy. It's like itchy out here tonight. And so if you see me itching a lot, I think I need to get the jacuzzi. It's a hot summer afternoon, and I'm just itching like a bat in heat here. Alta, I didn't get the first one like many others and haven't. I wish I could have used it. I'm going to do that video maybe tomorrow. As I said, there's about 300,000 of you that are eligible for the first check, have not gotten it, and are still being routed the check. So I'm going to try to get as much information as I can before I do that video. Stephanie, thank you for the updates. I love the accent. It's not an accent. It's just how I am. But I've been told that my entire life. I just play everyone gets help. Connie, did someone say they just made SSI, SSDI vets out because we haven't lost anything? That's not true. We're suffering. I don't know what you're talking about. I really appreciate what you're doing, sir. Ajabala. Well, thank you. Sandy, I had to do taxes in 2019 for zero for everyone of my friends on disability get their stimulus check. They didn't get a response from Get My Check within 5 days of filing a 2019 filers. That was consistent. I suggest you don't have your money, go get my check, fall into your 2019. Everyone who's been on disability over 2019, file those taxes. I think what she's saying, because it didn't translate very well, is she's saying get your taxes filed. I've been saying that consistently. Get your 2019 taxes on file. I mean, why wait to do a non-filing file, a non-filer filing? That's a tongue twister. Why wait around to have to file something to say I'm a non-filer when all you can do is just send in a 2019 tax return and say 0 on it? If your tax return is so simple as 0, just fill it out and put 0, and make sure you have your correct address on it. Mitzi. Sorry, Mitzi. I called Mitzi Mitch. Off current subject. I wasn't aware many years ago when the first ever stimulus check was ever given off, not for the pandemic. Everyone knew about it. The CARES Act started. Where were the first ever stimulus checks ever applied for? I missed it probably too late. I was assembled back then. No, the first stimulus check was approved in the CARES Act, was approved in March. Jason Parat, my name is Jason. I'm on SSI. Will I get this new check that's coming? Yes, I believe so. I don't know more about you, Jason. There's only a few reasons why you would not get if you're on SSI. 1, you have a representative payee, or 2, you are more than one of 3. You are one of 4 dependents on someone else's tax return. If you're one of 3 dependents on someone else's tax return, you would get it. Kenneth, as proposed. I have to keep on saying this, as proposed. Of course, it's not law yet. Kenneth Bartlett, oh my God, what in the world would you do for employment? I'm subscribed to your videos, and now I see why. You're writing a lot of information, facts, and data, whatever you want to call it. I got to admit, I'm beyond impressed. I'm 82 years old, and you've been spot on for all your information. I'm a retired U.S. Army disabled veteran, Vietnam vet. I just received my check. I had to one last check. Being an old vet, I just waited to make sure. Kevin Bartlett, Marina, California. Oh, congrats! Oh, you're close. Are you Marina Del Rey or just Marina? I don't know where. I don't know. Is Marina Del Rey? Because if you are, you're quite close. Thank you for your service, Kenneth, and thank you for your compliments. If you need assistance, drop in the comments below. Renee, question: my son works as a maintenance worker for apartment building. Is he considered an essential worker? Yes. Hazard pay. That's my hazard pay video, the second one every day, that $10,000 hazard pay. Maintenance workers are listed as essential workers. So make sure it's maintenance. As I said, building an extension on a house is not maintenance. But yeah, that's absolutely. Monica, Tahitian holiday. When was the Tahitian holiday? Sherry Thomas, when do we get the second stimulus payment so I can pay the movers to move? As I detailed before, August, September. Maxine Watkins. Okay, my husband and I filed 2018 taxes jointly. He passed away in 2019. Last May, I didn't receive anything. My name is Gloria, but it's under the screen name of Maxine. So, this is one of those problem situations. I had another viewer like this. When you are married to someone and the last tax return that the IRS has is a joint tax return, and the spouse that is deceased was the filer, and you haven't filed anything with the IRS since, you know what's going to happen. The IRS is not going to know that the spouse is deceased, is going to send him at his last known address a double check for both of you. One of the viewers got that check, so her husband died, sadly. She got the double check in March, the first stimulus check. And my response was, well, because the IRS didn't know he died. And they didn't know that because he filed a joint tax return for you last year, and he's now passed, so they're going to send the check to him as the joint filer. What you should do if you're watching this video and you have a spouse, and the spouse was the joint filer between the two of you, your husband and wife, and the deceased spouse is the one whose name filed the tax return for you last year, file your tax return this year under your name right away. So if Judy is watching this video and Judy was married to John, and John filed a joint tax return for Judy and John last year. John died last year, and Judy is now a widower by herself. Judy needs to file a 2019 tax return under Judy's name individually ASAP with the IRS. One, because you have to, because John is deceased. But you should do it so that they know, hey, Judy is solo. She's by herself now. Send her the stimulus check. Now, if she doesn't, what's ultimately going to happen, and yes, you can listen to the implications of this. I'm not going to say what's going to happen, but you know what's going to happen. They're going to send a double check to Judy for Judy and John. John is not around, but it'll be made payable to John. If Judy can't cash it, a lot of problems. Just get it done. Oswaldo, thank you for the information. Well, thank you. Jennifer, what about the payee people? So the check would always go to the payee person. Magdalene, what happens if you have a dependent child drawing on your Social Security? You did not get a first stimulus check because his money comes on a direct express card, but he never got it. Will he get a second stimulus check? Yes. That one of the most complicated situations I have to go over in these videos is when you are on Social Security and you have a dependent child on your tax return. If you file taxes in 2019, if you were on Social Security in 2019, nothing to worry about. It's those viewers who, this is the situation when you have a dependent child. It is those viewers who are newly on Social Security this year, or SSI or SSDI, and are newly have a dependent child on their as a dependent on their return. That is a strange situation that the IRS doesn't know where that dependent child is, may know where you are, but doesn't know where the dependent child is. When we get closer to July, I'm going to go through that in detail. It's hard for me to even remember it myself because I can do it for you. It's easy for me to do it for you. But when you have a dependent child and you haven't been filing tax returns and they don't know where the child is, that is so complicated. And so I will slow it down when we get to it. But he will get one. He's entitled to one. The answer is yes, he gets one or she gets one. But what you have to do to ensure he gets it is a little bit more complicated. Louise, thank you for your updates. I'm new subscriber to your videos. I really appreciate your information. All we can do is pray. The only answer to everyone's concern, it's more coming. Is that as anticipated? How do we know that? I just do. Wait for the Lord. He'll come through and wait in prayer. Blessings to all of you. Well, thank you so much, Louise. Daryl, I just called my senator in Louisiana, told him a little nice voice message, asked him he was nuts. He doesn't care about me. Lee Wright, gone loose, my dear car, on the count of them. Laura, the SSI SSDI doesn't come to you on cards or direct deposit. I know this from the recording on the cards with the SSI and checks. Not true. Some people, the IRS clearly delineates how these things are routed. Tara Yates Brown, what do you do if you're on SSI, got taken off, so you no longer receive it anymore? Do you receive the first check but are now working? Wow, that's a great question. So bottom line is if you file a tax return, nothing to worry about. I mean, they know where you are and it'll be sent to the address on the tax return. If you're on SSI and now off SSI, that doesn't disqualify you from a stimulus check. The fact that you're on SSI does not qualify for you for a stimulus check. The purpose of these videos have been, hey, you are on SSI, you also get a stimulus check. You're not on SSI, you also get a stimulus check. The fact that you're working, you also get a stimulus check. The fact that you're not working, you also get a stimulus check. So none of those things trigger. What triggers not getting a stimulus check is other things, as I've detailed for you. Richard, thank you for your time and effort. Well, thank you. Lavita, can I get my first unemployment check and checked in April? Richard again. LH, check this based upon your reporting. I received my stimulus by mail and debit card. I filed joint and the card had both my name and her name, but I was the primary. Now I just signed up to receive my Social Security, which will start in September, and I have direct deposit for the check. Do you think I'll happen in this scenario? Oh, I answered this online. Great question. Yes. Yours is not one that I'm worried about because you were the joint filer, so they already know where you are. Had it been on the other side, it was your wife, I would be a little worried about that. But no, I think you're absolutely fine. You don't have anything to do. Arthur Staples, you said Social Security would get a check and now we have to wait and see. Make up your mind. I did not say that. I said these are proposed bills. I said the bill is likely to get passed on August 8th. I didn't say is passed. I've never said is passed. Christine Petty, received the payment automatic direct deposit on April 29th. Congratulations. Dezurahu, I just love you. You're awesome explaining things so clearly. Hi from Maine. Hello. Oh, Miami. Hi from Miami. Daryl, I don't know if we're going to get the second stimulus check because I heard we'll not get it. No, as of today, both parties have, and the White House have all said you're going to get a check. Maria, hello, my name is Maria. I have a question about my daughter claimed me last year on her taxes, but I'm on SSI and I didn't receive a check. Would I get the second one? So that's a great question. Yes. What is different is, and here we go, here's the minutia. Under the CARES Act, the first stimulus check, if you were a dependent on your daughter's tax return, which she was, you were not eligible for a first stimulus check. Repeat, under the first stimulus check, if you're on your daughter's tax return as a dependent, you do not get a stimulus check. It's just a bad law. They wrote it and they knew they messed up when they wrote it. So the second stimulus package gets that gone, throws that away. It says, no, we understand grandparents and elderly people are on their child or daughter's or son's tax return as a dependent. They are entitled to a stimulus check. So under the second stimulus check, you will get under second stimulus check proposals, you will get a second stimulus check. There's only one circumstance in which you won't, is if your daughter has you and 3 other dependents. Remember, the magic number is 3. 3 can get stimulus checks. The 4th cannot. The 5th cannot. Up to 3 dependents on one tax return can get second stimulus checks as proposed. The 4th cannot. This has been great answering your questions. The second stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Veterans Benefits, and more. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below and me answer them tomorrow's recording. If you like this video, if you think this is a very helpful second bonus video, we'll add it into our regular routine of videos on a regular basis. Tell us what you think. If you like it, we'll continue to do this one. As always, say if LA for more.